Servus Freunde, my name is
Jimmy, there are things you don't know about the Buddymeister. Things that are lost in time, that are ancient history, that are somehow forgotten. I had a career once. They called me Child Star Meister. I acted in movies, silent movies. But then people just lost interest in me when I got older. That and all the boozing and the drug antics. And somehow everybody realized that I just suck at acting. You think I get another chance? A second wind? You think people will remember me and believe in me once again? Who are you?
অপুর ট্রিলজি চিত্রনাট্য তো আমার জন্য যেন লেখা।
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister. And once a month we let all our patrons and YouTube members decide which movie we should review next. The latest poll was all about Bengali movies. The options were Eine, Apur Panchali and Asha Jawar Maye. And Apur Panchali won.
If you want to vote, please consider becoming a patron or YouTube member as well. The next poll is already up, and this time it's all about Hindi superheroes. You can choose between Bhavesh Joshi Superhero, Krish and Mr. India.
But let's talk about 2014's Apur Panchali now. It was written and directed by Kaushik Ganguly. It stars Ardhendu Banerjee, Parambrata Chattopadhyay, Gaurav Chakrabarty and Parno Mitra. The movie is based on the life of Subir Bannerjee, the actor who played Apu in Satyajit Ray's famous movie Apur Panchali from 1955. Although I would prefer the term inspired by, because Banerjee disappeared from the public eye and there's actually only very little known about him.
Director Ganguly mentioned in an interview that he found similarities between certain parts of the life of Subir Bannerjee and the iconic character Apu. But if we are honest, this could really mean anything. In any case, Ganguly tried to create a biography for someone who faded into obscurity, and he did so by parallelly narrating his life with the life of the iconic character he portrayed at one point in his life. And that results in quite an experimental movie.
Yes, but like you said, the story and its many little events are located somewhere between accurate biography and total fiction. We just don't know. If you're able to embrace this idea, you're fine.
Apur Panchali is told through different layers and different time periods. We have the present, where we follow the film student Aka, who's in search of Subir Bannerjee to hand him over the invitation to a prestigious award ceremony in Germany. Then we have the past, where we follow Subir's life in his 20s, which is shot in black and white. We learn about his family and his love interest Ashima. And the third layer consists of little snippets from Rai's Apu trilogy that are somehow connected to events that take place in Subir Bannerjee's life.
I think this experimental approach is the biggest reason to watch Apur Panchali. It's this intricate, sometimes convoluted, narration that makes this movie interesting and fascinating, and that actually keeps you from being bored.
Yes, that and of course the nostalgic feeling that automatically comes with the throwback to the Apu trilogy, to the journey of Apu. Apur Panchali is best when it hits the nail right on its head with this parallel narration, when we witness Subir's desperation in one moment and then see Apu's in the next, intercut in a most precise way. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, at first we definitely had our problems getting into this erratic style and this blend of fiction and possible reality. But these wonderful moments, like when Subir reaches this transmission tower and we cut to little Apu standing at the exact same place, or the scene that you just hinted at, where we see Subir closing a door in desperation, and then we see Shumitro's Apu raising his head in the next. It's really great filmmaking in that moments.
And it gives Apur Panchali a documentary feel too. We actually see some talking heads in the beginning, but it never gets picked up again.
Well, Apur Panchali is a movie where Kaushik Ganguly obviously tried a lot. He's in full experimentation mode, and while this style definitely is the highlight of the movie, it's also what holds it back in a way. What disrupts certain moments because things just won't add up.
I think that's most obvious towards the end, when the parallel narration loses its energy and things are dragging quite a bit. And it's not like I wasn't affected by Subir's life, but there are a few moments where you just feel that this supposedly biographical story is fizzling out. There's just not much to tell.
I know what you mean, and that brings me back to the biography versus fiction debate. Subir's life is in some way that close to Apu's life that I wasn't as interested in it as I should have been. You get what I mean?
I think so. It's almost like you know what step the story and Subir will take next. There are no surprises, if you will.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like I wanted more surprises in the way of twists and turns, but Apur Panchali is a rather slow and unagitated movie that doesn't feel like it's telling me something new.
Yes, I totally agree. The style of this movie is much more interesting than what it has to say. But like we said, the style isn't always that compelling either. Take the music for example. I loved it when the movie started, and of course the music is based on race music from Apur Panchali, but the main theme is so overused later on, it pops up every 2 minutes or so, it becomes annoying.
It's very repetitive, yeah, and there's also this more dramatic theme with sweeping strings that's used in a few montages, and that one gives Apur Panchali a really bad soap opera touch that doesn't work at all, and it also gives this whole story and this biography versus fiction debate the feeling of forcing things too hard in the direction of a tearjerker, while in reality we don't really know how Subir's life has been.
It's definitely a fine line and you kinda have to just go with it or else you can't really enjoy this movie. And there are things to enjoy here, it's a decent movie. We can't stress enough how fascinating this layered narration is, and the actors are also doing a good job.
Yes, I don't object, but I have to ask you something. Why on earth does Subir Bannerjee get an invitation to the Internationaler Preis für Film- und Medienmusik? That's a ceremony where the sound design of audiovisual products is celebrated.
I have no idea.
Very well. What would we say in German about Apur Panchali?
Apur Panchali ist eine Liebeserklärung an den in Vergessenheit geratenen Subir Bannerjee, der einst den kleinen Apu spielte. Größtenteils faszinierend, experimentell erzählt, ist die Geschichte mitunter aber etwas zu melodramatisch und repetitiv. I give Apur Panchali 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.3, but I don't do that.
For me, it's also 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.4, but I don't do that either. Did you know that there was a special juvenile award given to young actors and actresses at the Academy Awards from 1935 to 1961? Famous winners were Shirley Temple and Judy Garland.
Didn't know that. So, what are your thoughts about Apur Panchali? Leave a comment. And hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd and also on Patreon, simply at the Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at the Buddymeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.